It's time for spelling analysis. And today we get to use the 3 new phonograms we learned, the Latin spellings of sh. You'll start to see why these are some of my favorite phonograms. The first word is pollute. Let's be careful to not pollute the water. Pollute. Go ahead and say pollute. How many syllables in pollute? 2. We will say to spell Pollute. What will we say to spell? Pollute. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is Paul. P-A-U. The second syllable is lute. U-U. Use an U-U-U. T. Silent final E. Go ahead and write Pollute, sounding it out as you write it. Excellent. And now help me to write it. The first syllable is Paul. P-A-U. The second syllable is lute. U-U-T. Silent final E. Why do we have a silent final E in pollute? You're right. The vowel said its long sound because of the E. Remember, U has 2 long vowel sounds, U and U. So here it is saying its second long vowel sound, U. Let's read it. P-A-U-U-T, pollute. The next word is pollution. There is a lot of pollution in this area, and that is sad. Let's say pollution. How many syllables in pollution? 3. Now, what is the root word of pollution? You're right, it's pollute. That means we will use the Latin spelling of sh, that is tall sh, because here, do you see that ends in a T? So that is a good clue about which Latin spelling we'll use to form the derivative pollution. We will say to spell Paul-lu-shan. What will we say to spell? Paul-lu-shan. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is Paul. P-A-U. The second syllable is lu. U-U. Again, that's an U-U-U. The third syllable is shan. Sh. Use a tall sh. A-n. Go ahead and write Paul-lu-shan, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is Paul. P-A-U. The second syllable is lu. U-U. The third syllable is shan. Sh. A-n. And how will we mark it? What sound of U-U-U do you hear? That's right, it's the second broad sound again. The second long sound again. And why is it saying it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. Then we'll underline the sh. And notice, once again, we use tall sh because pollution is a derivative of pollute. We dropped the E and we added the suffix ion to make pollution. And then that reformed this new phonogram that says sh. Let's read it. P-A-U-U-U-sh-a-n. Pollution. And then you'll also hear that we hear the schwa sound, pollution. And that's because any vowel may say or it in an unstressed syllable. And suffixes are often unstressed, so we often don't say them clearly. That's why we say to spell. So we have an auditory picture of what that is spelled like. The next word is divide. Divide the cards among the players. Divide. Go ahead and say divide. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell divide. What will we say to spell? Divide. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is di. D-I. Use an I-E-ya. The second syllable is vide. V-I. Use an I-E-ya. D. Silent final E. Go ahead and write divide, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is D-I. The second syllable is vide. V-I-D. Silent final E. Now, why did the I say I at the end of the syllable? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. Why do we have a silent final E in divide? The vowel said its long sound because of the E. Excellent. Let's read it. D-I-V-I-D, divide. The next word is division. There is a division between them, division. Go ahead and say division. And how many syllables in division? 3. We will say to spell division. What will we say to spell? Division. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is di, d-i. The second syllable is vi, v-i. The third syllable is Jean, zh. That's right. This is how you spell zh, a-n. Go ahead and write division, sounding it out as you write it. Excellent. And now help me to write it. The first syllable is di, d-i. The second syllable is vi, v-i. The third syllable is Jean, zh, a-n. Now, why did the I's say I? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the zh. What sound of zh do you hear? The second, division. Let's read it. D-I-V-I-J-A-N, division. The next word is distance. What is the distance to the next stop? Distance. Go ahead and say distance. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell dis-tance. What will we say to spell? Dis-tance. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is dis. D-I, use an I-I-E. S, use a s-z. The second syllable is tance. T-a-n-s. Use a k-s. Silent final E. Go ahead and write dis-tance, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is dis. D-I-s. The second syllable is tance. T-a-n-s. Silent final E. How do we mark it? You're right, the k-s said its second sound. Why? Why did it soften to s? The C softens to s because of the E. Let's read it. D-I-s-t-a-n-s. Distance. The next word is operation. She will need an operation. Operation. Go ahead and say operation. How many syllables? 4. We will say to spell op-er-a-shon. What will we say to spell? Op-er-a-shon. Do you have any guesses how we'll spell the sh? What is the root of operation? It's operate. That's right. So we use a tall sh. So we will say to spell op-er-a-shon. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is op. Op. The second syllable is the ear of her. The third syllable is a. The fourth syllable is shon. Sh. Use a tall sh. A-n. Go ahead and write op-er-a-shon, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is op. Op. And then the second syllable is and then a. Shon. Sh. A-n. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the we'll put a line over the A. Why did it say it's a long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable, and we'll underline the sh. Once again, what is the root of operation? It's operate. And you hear the T, which is now forming the tall sh in operation. Let's read it. Op-er-a-sh-a-n, operation. The next word is discussion. We need to have a discussion about that. Discussion. Go ahead and say discussion. How many syllables in discussion? 3. We will say to spell dis, cuss, Sean. What will we say to spell? Dis, cuss, Sean. Now, what is the root word of discussion? It's discuss. So which form of or discussion do you think or which form of Latin do you think we'll use? Well, we'll use sh, because discuss ends in an S. So let's sound it out together. Dis, cuss, Sean. The first syllable is dis. D, I, s. Use a s, z. The second syllable is cuss. K. Use a k, s. S. Use a s, z. The third syllable is Sean. Sh. Use a sh, z. N. Go ahead and write dis, cuss, Sean. You've got it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is dis, d, I, s. The second syllable is cuss, k, s. The third syllable is Sean, sh, n. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the sh. And once again, we used it because the root is discuss. Let's read it. D, I, s, k, s, sh, n. Discussion. And here, again, you hear that schwa sound in the suffix, just like you hear in operation. Any vowel may say or I in an unstressed syllable. The next word is machine. The machine made a loud noise. Machine. How many syllables in machine? 2. We will say to spell may, sheen. What will we say to spell? May, sheen. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is may. A. The second syllable is sheen. Sh. Use a ch, k, sh. E. Use an I, E, y. N. Silent final E. Go ahead and write may, sheen. And help me to write it. A, sheen. Sh, E, N. Silent final E. Check that you wrote that correctly. All right, how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And then we have this saying sh. What sound of ch, k, sh is this? It's the third sound. That's right. And what sound of I, E, y do we hear in machine? We hear the third sound. And then why do we have a silent E in machine? Well, the I can say E any place that it can say its long sound. So it could say it at the end of the syllable or with a silent final E. And so the word machine is actually from French. That sh, that CH saying sh, is a sign that this is a French word. Let's read it. M-A-Sh-E-N, machine. And here we have that lazy schwa vowel. The next word is ultimate. Would you like to play a game of ultimate frisbee? Ultimate. Go ahead and say ultimate. How many syllables in ultimate? 3. We will say to spell mate. What will we say to spell? Mate. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is ul. Ul. The second syllable is t. I. Use an I, E, y. The third syllable is mate. T. Silent final E. Go ahead and write mate, sounding it out as you write it. Good, and then help me to write it. The first syllable is ul. The second syllable is t. I. The third syllable is mate. T. Silent final E. Why do we have a silent final E in ultimate? That's right, the vowel said its long sound because of the E. And why did the I say I? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. Let's read it. Ultimate. And once again, that last syllable is saying its schwa sound. Any vowel may say or I in an unstressed syllable. The next word is regular. The regular price is a very good deal. Go ahead and say regular. How many syllables in regular? 3. We will say to spell reg-u-lar. What will we say to spell? Reg-u-lar. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is reg. E-g. The second syllable is u. The third syllable is lar. L-r. Go ahead and write reg-u-lar. And help me to write it. The first syllable is reg. E-g. The second syllable is u. The third syllable is lar. L-r. And how do we mark it? We'll put a line over the u. Regular. Good. And why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And then when we say it, we say regular. And that's the R saying it schwa sound er. So it is an unstressed syllable, so R is being lazy in saying er. The next word is genius. She is a genius. Go ahead and say genius. How many syllables? And it'll be genius. It's 2 syllables. Genius. So 2 syllables. And this will be interesting, so listen carefully. The first syllable, so we will say to spell genius. Try that with me. Genius. Yes. I'm exaggerating it. All right, the first syllable is G. J. Use a G, J, E. The second syllable is yes. N, ya. Use an I, E, ya. S. Got it? G, yes. You've got it. And tell me to write it. The first syllable is G, J, E. The second syllable is yes. N, ya, s. All right, how do we mark it? We'll put a line. Well, g, j is saying its second sound. Why? G may soften to j before an E, I, or Y. And the E is saying its long sound. Why? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. Now, what sound is the I saying? Genius. Do you hear it saying ya? What sound of I, E, ya is that? It's the fourth sound. It's saying its consonant sound. Let's read it. J, E, N, Y, us. Genius. Excellent. The next word is possession. The ball is in the red team's possession. Go ahead and say possession. How many syllables in possession? 3. We will say to spell pause, zess, shon. Do you got it? Pause, zess, shon. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is pause. P, a, z. Use a s, z. The second syllable is zess. Z. Use a s, z. E, s. Use a s, z. The third syllable is shon. Sh. Use a sh, z. A, n. Go ahead and write pause, zess, shon. Possession. Pause, zess, shon. And help me to write it. The first syllable is pause, p, a, z, and then zess, z, s, and then shon, sh, a, n. And how will we mark it? What sound of z do we hear here? Possession. So it's saying its second sound, and here it's saying its first sound, and then that's saying sh. What's the root word, by the way, of possession? It's possess. So notice we have the word possess, and we added the suffix ion, and then that reformed that Latin spelling of sh here. Let's read it. P-a-z-z-s, sh-a-n, possession. Excellent. The next word is apologize. I will need to apologize to her. Apologize. Go ahead and say apologize. How many syllables in apologize? 4. We will say to spell a-pol-o-gize. What will we say to spell? A-pol-o-gize. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is A. A. The second syllable is Paul. P-a-ul. The third syllable is O. O. The fourth syllable is jize. J. Use a g, j. I. Use an I, I, e, y. Z. Use the phonogram that only says z. Silent final e. Go ahead and write a-pol-o-gize. A-pol-o-gize. Excellent. And then help me to write it. The first syllable is A, second syllable is Paul, P-a-ul, the third syllable is O, and the fourth syllable is jize, J-I-Z, silent final E. How will we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. Why did it say it's long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And the same thing is happening with the O. And once again, this is saying a schwa sound because any vowel may say or in an unstressed syllable. And then what about g, j? It's saying its second sound. Why? G may soften to j before an E, I, or Y. And why do we have a silent final E in apologize? The vowel said its long sound because of the E. Let's read it. A-p-a-u-o-j-i-z. Apologize. These are some big words. You're doing great. All right, we have 2 more. The next word is stadium. The new stadium is huge. Go ahead and say stadium. How many syllables in stadium? 3. We will say to spell stay-di-um. What will we say to spell? Stay-di-um. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is stay. S-t-a. The second syllable is d. D-e. Use an I, I, e, y. The third syllable is a-m. Go ahead and write stay-di-um. And help me to write it. The first syllable is stay, s-t-a. The second syllable is d, d-e. The third syllable is a-m. And how do we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. Why did it say it's a long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And what sound of I, I, E, y are we hearing? We're hearing its third sound, E. And there it is. I may say E any place that it could say its other long sound, I. And here it is, it's saying E at the end of the syllable. Let's read it. S-t-a-d-e-a-m, stadium. The last word is commercial. Did you see the commercial on TV? Go ahead and say commercial. How many syllables in commercial? 3. We will say to spell com-mer-shal. What will we say to spell? Com-mer-shal. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is com. K. Use a k. S. A-m. The second syllable is mer. M-er. Use the er of her. The third syllable is shall. Sh. Use a short sh. A-ul. Go ahead and write com-mer-shal, sounding it out as you write it. Com-mer-shal. And help me to write it. The first syllable is com. K-a-m. The second syllable is mer. M-er. The third syllable is shall. Sh-a-ul. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the er and the sh. Now, why did we use short sh? What's the root word of commercial? It's commerce, which ends with a C, E. So we'll drop the E and we'll add that suffix. And that's why we use short sh. Let's read commercial. K, a, sh, a, o. Commercial. Great work today. I hope that you see how the logic of English explains these big words in new ways.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at essentials.logicofenglish.com.